This is a guitar rendition of the famous tin whistle solo played by Jeffrey Kelly at the end of the song Home for a Rest by the band Spirit of the West. This was on their 1990 album Save This House, and it's arguably one of the most recognizable instrumental moments in Canadian rock. I wanted to learn it on the guitar, but this was quite a challenge. I couldn't find notation for it, and with these crazy fast flights of notes on the flute, learning it by ear and finding a way to make it playable on the guitar seemed too difficult. I used PracticeSession to chop the solo up section by section, slow it down to hear every note, and then train myself to play the tricky parts up to speed. Here's how I did it, and I'll share the Guitar Pro tab I wrote along the way so you can learn it too. The first step was getting the lay of the land. The full solo is over a minute long, so I listened through it in PracticeSession and dropped markers wherever I heard a new section start. Then, in one click, I converted the markers into loopable regions, created a region group for the solo, and dragged them all in. Now I have an organized workspace. I can jump to any section, loop it, and focus on just that part. Some parts of the solo are extremely fast. Flights of notes on the flute in 16th note triplets at 133 beats per minute. For most mortals, that's too fast to process. But by slowing it down all the way to 20%, it becomes manageable. Slowing down was also essential for passages that were not necessarily as fast but had grace notes. A grace note is a tiny, rapid ornamental note that falls into or leads into the main note. This is in part how Jeffrey Kelly gives his melodies their lively, dancing quality. At full speed, we hear the ornamental effect, but it's hard to tell exactly what's happening. By slowing down, we can clearly hear the grace notes. The higher note that falls smoothly into the next one, almost like a very rapid pull-off on the guitar. Once I could play a section reliably at slow tempo, it was time to bring it up to speed. This is where PracticeSession's Speed Trainer comes in. Using the fast Doran melody of the finale, I set the loop to start at 40% speed and configured it to increase by 5 BPM after every loop. Each time the speed bumps up, it's just a small, barely noticeable step, but over the course of many loops, you go from crawling to running without ever hitting a wall. And just like that, I'm playing it at full speed. The key is that each increment is small enough that your muscles adapt without you having to consciously push harder. It's a much smarter way to build speed than just trying to play fast and hoping for the best. For the final stretch of practice, I picked 3 small segments that were still giving me trouble and chained them into a single looping sequence in the Loop Manager. I also wrote out the full guitar tab for the solo and synced it to the audio in PracticeSession's Notation Manager. So as the Loop Manager cycles through my 3 tricky segments, the tab automatically jumps to the right spot. I can read the notation, hear the audio, and play along, completely focused on just the 3 parts that need the most work. Instead of playing through the whole solo and stumbling at the same 3 spots every time, I'm drilling exactly those spots back to back. Alright, that's the process. Map it out, break it down, slow it down, speed it back up, and chain the hard parts together. Now let's hear the final result. Here's the full solo, start to finish.